Food indicator.
Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Chandler, the Geek Slays. Welcome back to the Scuffed Ass Podcast, episode 25. There's still nothing to talk about. Can something interesting happen in the world?
Oh,
That's
I got something we could talk about. The massive ass freaking ammonium nitrate explosion.
Yeah, but what are we supposed to say? Like, some fucking retard thought it was a nuke. It wasn't a nuke. There you go.
I wanted to bring that up because there was people that thought that was a nuke.
I mean, that's
big freaking explosion, yes, but nothing like a nuke.
And, you know, the people who videotaped it aren't vaporized, so
yeah,
not a nuke. It's just not a nuke. Wish it was a nuke. I mean, what?
Yeah, watching those videos though, that's freaking crazy.
It's wild, man. Yo, what's up, Frankie? How's it going?
But what blows my mind is like so think of it this way: if Torrington had that explosion, all of our windows here in Fort Laramie would be blown out.
Huh.
That's how big the blast radius was. That's fucking crazy.
Huh. That's intriguing. That's sick. I'm doing all right. Just sitting here with nothing to talk about except crazy explosions.
We're in need of a topic.
Yeah, we are. We are in need of people that are more creative than us. Or, you know, just have more stories. Because I feel like we've... See, I want to say I feel like we've told them all, but also, when did we talk about stories on here? How are you, apparently?
How am I?
Yeah.
Well, I'm still a useless waste of oxygen.
This is true.
But other than that, still wasting oxygen.
It's okay, at least your mother loves you. I didn't get that luxury in life.
Karina loves you.
Sometimes
She's
I
pretty
question
much your
that.
mom.
Sometimes I question it.
Try having my mom. Drag your ass out by your curly locks and slit your throat.
Why?
Because you didn't go do something for her.
Well, I wouldn't, you know, if I hated it that much, hated, you know, having to do things for her, I wouldn't still be living there at 23.
Well, you know, I'm not going to leave and then struggle. It's a pretty good gig. It just pisses me off sometimes.
It's not that great of a gig.
It's a pretty good gig.
It's not that great of a gig. You're overhyping your times here.
Well, you know.
I got myself a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
Your gig looks shitty.
Well, compared to yours, yes.
Well, have a dream and then have parents who actually give a fuck about you succeeding at something.
Well,
oh god,
I have a dream too. It's just harder to get to.
No, you have. Excuse me, motherfucker.
I think it's harder to get to.
To get to working at a fucking power plant is harder than trying to stream on Twitch.
So far, yes.
No. You just
you've had success. I've had success.
I do have YouTube. It is linked in my about section. I think. Yeah. It's linked down below the stream, or it'll pop up at some point when my bot decides to work.
It's kind of a bipolar bot.
Yeah, my bot's kind of a dick. Actually,
you won't see him for a month, and then he'll just, hello, I'm here again.
On your last stream on Mixer, yeah, that happened. That was big. Here, I can try to link it. Hold on. But what were we talking about? Oh, our gigs, huh? Oh, you thinking, no, here's what you needed to do. You went to school to be a welder and are trying to get a job as a laborer. You should have just went to fucking power plant school, you goddamn moron.
Well, see, I didn't want to go to North Dakota for that. Because it's still not a 100% chance of getting hired on at the power plant. So, at least as a welder,
you have a shot at other jobs that you're not going to take.
Well, I might.
No.
But I'm just, I really want to work at the power plant. I've been really working at trying to get there. You know their whole thing? You know what? This is fucking crazy. So they had 300 and some applications, right?
Sure.
They came down to I made it to the final 100, and
I
then
didn't think
they
you
only
did.
gave like 16
Yep, no
people.
problem.
They only gave 16 people an interview.
Sure.
They chose a person. They really liked this person. They sent it up to North Dakota, who they chose. North Dakota turned them down. So they never hired anybody. So, in my mind, it's like, okay, so North Dakota had somebody in mind that they wanted hired, but we didn't
It
choose
wasn't
them.
you.
It wasn't me, obviously.
That's all.
But they didn't choose them. And, you know, that's like fucking crazy politics right there. Like, you know, it's supposed to be equal opportunity. That's some bullshit there.
Well, it's just like when I interviewed at Verizon. The day I interviewed, the district manager was there.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was sitting there getting ready for my interview, he told the manager there, you know, yeah, go ahead and interview him, but you're not going to hire him. There's somebody I already like. We haven't interviewed him yet, but that's who we're going to hire. It's like, hey, fuckhead, I'm sitting right here. Oh, my God.
They're like, you have to hire me now just because I heard you say that.
Yeah.
This is now...
And I was just pissed. It's like, it's February. It just snowed outside. So there was like 2 feet of snow on the ground. It's 7:30 in the morning. And I just drove 30 miles to get here. It's like,
For nothing.
are you fucking me?
Why don't you just call me and tell me not to show
I could have
up?
at least, you know, if I have a shot and, you know, lose out to somebody else, that's different. But when it's just, you know, there's somebody else I have in mind who we haven't even interviewed yet, it's like, that doesn't fucking matter. I could be better at the actual job than this person you have in mind.
Well,
or, you know, the fact that
person's a female and hotter.
Probably. Or just let's go with the fact that I know more about phones probably than anybody in this fucking room. And I can almost guarantee that. You know me. Very techie human being.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Well, I didn't get hired in Wheatland because I liked iPhones.
Really?
And, you know, the only people who worked there didn't. I was like, that's some fucking bullshit. You're allowed to like whatever fucking phone you like. That doesn't...
Just because you like an iPhone doesn't mean you won't sell whatever
Well, and
somebody
it doesn't
walks into the store.
When I ask somebody what they want for a phone, the first thing that comes into my head isn't always going to be, oh, here, getting them an iPhone.
Yeah.
Now, if they say, you know, I just want, you know, maybe the best overall phone experience, you know, really good camera, really good everything, then it comes down to, okay, well, how much do you like to be able to customize your phone? Because
Well,
like
yeah,
Android, you can do crazy
on
shit.
what phone you like. You know,
Right.
what app features in a phone that you like. Because iPhone has certain features.
Sometimes an iPhone is the best phone to recommend to somebody.
Yeah.
For some people, it's not.
But
And
the
I
thing
get
is,
that.
when somebody does that, you can still go, okay, well, this is what I use and this is what I like about
Right.
it. And then
I use an iPhone,
the
here's why.
features that Samsung has
Right.
that are really good too. So
'Cause
it's up to you to decide what you want.
Basically, every phone is competitive with almost everything, except for cameras. The Google Pixel and the iPhone. Their cameras sit up here, everybody else's are kind of down here. They're just far and away the best. They just are. And Google is better for just pure, like, picture quality. It's better than an iPhone. And for video quality, iPhones are just better than Pixels. It's weird. I don't get how that works, but that is. But it's easy to be like, okay, well, do you take a lot of video? No. Okay, so let's talk about the Pixel. If, like, you care about a camera. Because some people just want, like, I need it to have a really good camera. The rest of it, it's just a phone, whatever. Like, okay, so here's a Google Pixel. Check this thing. You know, I really like to take videos on my phone. Okay, here's an iPhone. Look at this. It's weird. But you're gonna say the actual... You're gonna say it's harder to apply for a job where you already met all the qualifications for than it is to stream on Twitch.
There's
How long have you been working
on?
on actually trying to go to the power plant? When did you graduate?
Well, I've been wanting to.
Well, sure,
since.
but you couldn't because you couldn't even apply. So that's not how that works. You've been working on it for what, a year? Two applications? I don't know when you graduated.
So I mean, that'd be
2.5 years.
I know you've been, but what I'm saying is I'm not saying necessarily that it's more complicated. I'm just saying that there's complications in both.
So my thing is this, for actually making it happen, I'd say this is more difficult. The actual going about getting to the point where this is an actual livable job, I think this is more difficult. The actual job portion of this is way easier.
Yeah.
But, well, to a point. Like, I mean...
Mentally, it's not.
Mentally, it's tougher. But physically, it's easy, really.
Yeah.
I don't have to do shit. I sit here, I talk to a camera, I make funny jokes, I play video games. That's my job. Whereas at the power plant, you actually have to go do things.
But the thing is, I still haven't been hired on. You know,
True.
There's a chance that you've got everything set up. There's a chance that you could take off, start making money.
Sure.
And I'm sitting here for 14 years trying to get hired at the power plant and never do. So, and that's kind of sucks.
That's why I think you shouldn't have tried so hard to get to the power plant.
I'd try, because if I made it, I mean, I gotta fucking...
Dude.
Where else are you just gonna show up and make $32 an hour?
Seeing as you were one of the 25 best football players in our state. Probably more like one of the 5 best, but we'll say 20. That's all you made it into, because they have the...
No, actually, I made it in the top 5.
Sure, there you go.
I was number 5.
You didn't let me take your tape and submit it to schools to try to get a scholarship to go play football. I'm sorry. If you make it into the NFL, even getting drafted in the 7th round, you're still making more than $32 an hour. You make more in a year of going pro than you do in 10 years at the power plant. That's just how it works. But you didn't even want to try. Apparently.
Well, because, if I was, 6'2", 210 pounds, I would have felt a little more confident about being... Because size, a lot of people look for size. Yeah, I might be the most athletic motherfucker.
A lot of people do look for size, but look at fucking Russell Wilson. He fell to the 3rd round of the draft because he's smaller as a quarterback. The Seahawks that offseason signed a guy and were paying him $30 million. Guaranteed. Yeah. That guy never got to touch the field because Russell Wilson was just a better goddamn football player. Talent wins. Talent reigns supreme. If you are good at what you do, the talent wins. Never giving yourself a shot was a mistake.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, what I feared the most, I would get offered a scholarship or I would have to go play. What would have happened? They would have been, okay, we'll give you the scholarship, but you have to come and play for us for a year. And after that, we'll give you the scholarship. Okay, cool. But in my mind, what I'm thinking, I'm going to go over there, I'm just going to drop everything and just go do this.
Yep.
And blow a knee out. I'm fucked. There goes my whole football career right there.
Sure.
Then I'm screwed, because now I'm in this college. Laramie, would have been Laramie.
Maybe.
But it doesn't matter what college. They're expensive.
But you still don't know that. And if they gave you a scholarship, they're going to uphold it. If they gave it to you. You're going off the stipulation of, well, come play for a year and then we'll give you a scholarship. That's not what would have happened.
Yeah, it would have.
No, it's not. That's not how it goes.
Pretty much, especially, they don't just, unless you're that good, which...
You don't even know what you were. You never even tried, is my issue. You could have sent out tape and just seen what people had to say.
Well,
that wouldn't have been hard, because then you can make this decision.
Right.
But what you were saying, you got way too into your head of, this is what could happen. You know what? That shit goes through my head every time I go to press the fucking go live button. I'm still gonna push the fucking button and see what happens.
But my thing is anybody that's ever played college, unless... Well, even think of it this way. The number 1 football player in the state of Wyoming my year didn't get a full ride scholarship. They offered him a full ride scholarship after he played and proved himself.
Which college offered him that?
Well, he actually got several offers. Alabama was one of them, which he didn't go to.
Dumbass.
Which was... What do you do? Well, he wanted to go... Well, it was between Laramie and another college that he was wanting to go to, and they said, okay, but both colleges said, okay, we want you really badly. Show up, and you play for a certain amount of time, and prove yourself, then we'll give you the scholarship. Well, then he fucked it all over because he was Mormon, and well, he was Mormon. He went to like a military deal, and they said, okay, so since you're gonna do that, we'll still give you the scholarship when you get back. When he got back, he was like, nah, I've changed my mind. I'm gonna be a lawyer. So
Weird times.
it was
So,
weird. I was like, I don't know
My
what-
thing with you though is, let's say that is the only offer you got. Go to UW, spend a year. You are only looking at the negative side of, well, I could blow out a knee. What about the positive side of, well, I might not blow out a knee, I might get a full ride scholarship, and I might get drafted.
But I was trying to think the most logically.
No,
Because-
you're not thinking logically, you're thinking pessimistically. That is not logic, that is
No,
just...
it's logically because I have to pay money to get there. I have to pay a lot of money. I didn't have that much money to get into, and I want my mother to retire before she's 95. So,
Yeah, and you know what would have been the fastest way to do that? Make it pro!
right.
Instead of just sit at your house suckling on her teat.
I don't suck too much teeth, but
Suck enough.
I suck enough teeth so I get internet. That's
And food.
I still buy my own food though. I make enough money now that I don't have to pay my truck off. I make enough money. I pretty much.
Okay,
buy
so
my
for
own
the
shit
last month, you've made enough money to buy your own food.
now. And since
Like, March. Fuck, it's August, isn't it?
yes,
Quarantine's broken my brain. This year has been both the longest and the shortest at the same time. Like, it feels like the year should be over, but it also feels like
it's almost
March.
like school when you were going to school. School makes it feel so long, but once you get to the end, it was like, man, that was really quick.
Kinda, yeah.
Next thing you know, you're graduating and you have to figure out what the fuck you want to do with your life.
Next thing you know, you drop out
Yep.
and
Or in Chandler's case, next thing you know, you drop out.
get questioned on why
Should
you
start his own fucking technician shop. And
get questioned on why you dropped out by everybody you ever talked to. That's always funny.
yeah, especially since he was probably one of the smartest kids in the school.
I
And-
think I was. I'm gonna stick by that.
I don't
okay,
think so.
after Alyssa left.
I was about to say, after Alyssa
Okay,
left,
between
then,
me, Landon, and Reagan, I think there's an argument that it was me. If I actually gave enough of a fuck, it would have been me.
oh yeah,
But I couldn't be fucked to show up. Like, it's like, fuck, I got school
So-
today. Now I'll stay home.
so in other words, I mean, you could have went a lot of places just with your intelligence besides streaming.
Could have.
Could have,
Still could.
and yeah,
If
still
I
could.
choose to. Because I
But
also...
that's the thing. You chose to do this.
I did.
I chose not
No,
to go to college.
I know.
Or to
I know.
football.
It's the same type of thing, but I'm just saying...
Yeah, I know
Okay.
I had an opportunity, and I'm always gonna regret it for the rest of my life for not taking
Probably.
the opportunity. It's not that I don't have a regret of trying.
Right.
It's just I felt that I had a very slim chance.
Sure. How do you feel about your odds of getting a job at the power plant at this point?
Still a better chance of getting a job at
Ooh.
the power plant than going pro.
I don't know.
Because
If I had your talent, I'd be sitting on an NFL team right now.
I wish I had your size.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
5'9", 300 is not.
Well,
good
I mean,
size.
5'9", 300 and solid muscle. Then the colleges are gonna be like, "Oh my god, the fullback from hell."
No.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know what they do with. I don't know what I could do.
5'9" with. If you're 5'9",
Yeah, but what good?
have half-ass
A
speed.
fullback, you're basically just a lineman
Yes,
anymore.
but you
Fullbacks
give-
don't do shit.
But you can, if you have a fullback that can run the football, doesn't mean.
But you also
they
have to
don't
look at the
normally
NFL.
Run the fullback.
3 teams have a fullback that actually gets any playing time.
Right.
The Vikings, the Niners, and the Ravens are the only teams that use fullbacks.
Oh,
They
so
already
the
have
Niners.
them, so they're not going to draft you.
Well, I'm just saying that it doesn't mean just fullback or tailback even. They could make you a tailback. You could be
Sure.
a fucking running back from.
Fucking
the thing
Jerome
is, if you're-
Bettis
if you're-
2.0.
That is like the best running backs. The short, stocky.
That's not true. The best ever
Powerful
was Barry
motherfuckers.
Sanders, who was short, but he just ran around the entire field 10 times until you were too tired
He was
and then went.
agile. But if I was an NFL coach,
And like the second best
The
all
things
time, in my
I would
opinion,
look
is
for-
Adrian Peterson, who's like 6'2". Yeah, he's 250 of solid muscle, but he's also just faster than everybody.
yeah, but
He's just a freak.
that's what I'm saying. If you still have my speed and you're 5'9",
I don't think that's possible
it is.
to weigh 300 pounds and
You
be-
know those 340, 350 pound linemen? They're running like fucking 5'6" or
Yeah, sure.
5'6" 40s.
Yeah.
That's fucking fast.
Not in the NFL. That's literally the slowest you can be to play in the NFL.
Well, I know, but that's a guy that's fat.
There are NFL quarterbacks who aren't considered they're not considered
Josh Allen's quick, really.
sure, but he's considered a running mobile quarterback.
Right.
There are guys who aren't considered mobile quarterbacks who ran like a 4.4.
But the thing that quarterbacks got going for them, a lot of times they're tall, they're lanky, and every fucking step they take, they're taking 5 yards.
Baker Mayfield and
They look like they're not moving, but they're moving pretty
like
fucking
Russell
quick.
Wilson, Kyler Murray, and Baker Mayfield, the short fuckers.
Yeah.
They just got to be able to run around.
They're just squirmy.
And then Drew Brees is also a short fucker, but I don't know what his deal is. He's just good.
Yeah. But what I would look for as an NFL coach, I look for the people for a running back, people who will be in the 5'9" to 6'1" height range.
Oh, so you don't look at Adrian Peterson, huh?
No. I mean,
Yikes.
yes, some people will turn out, but I like those shorter people who can hide behind their linemen. You know, they're big ass fucking linemen.
You also
where
have to
can
think,
hide
though,
them.
a guy like Adrian Peterson, he can just see over his lineman, so he knows where to be.
Right.
But not everybody is built that way either. Like, not only is he that tall and that big, but he's also faster than anybody
I
else.
was
He's
about to
just
say, he
like,
runs like a 4.340.
yeah,
or
he's just like, no matter what I need to do, if I have to run you over, I'll
because
run
a lot
you
of times he outruns his lineman anyway,
over. Yeah,
so he doesn't need to. But I like those shorter guys because they can hide behind the lineman. Yeah, as a running back, because I know from experience, you can
Sure.
still see. You know, you got gaps between the
Right.
linemen. You can see, and you know where the play's going. Your lineman knows where the play. So if you
Right.
got good linemen, it should work. But I like the idea of the defense not knowing where the ball's at and not knowing where the player's at. You know,
sure.
and fast and stocky. I like somebody who's, you know, can still frickin' manhandle people, but they're not, you know, a giant.
You could. You fuck.
Well, I don't know if I can manhandle people who have arms bigger than my torso. So, I mean, I did it in the Shrine Bowl, but they're still inexperienced. And
Right, and you could get more experience. You could put on more muscle.
well, yeah, and I could have. I'm guessing, you know, with my height, and I don't want to put on too much muscle because that's how you lose speed.
Sure.
But I feel like right now, since I lost my weight, I'm faster now than if I were to go out and run and race me back when I was still dealing with an ankle injury too. I broke my ankle.
I guess you're still dealing with that.
Yeah.
There's
it's
no
still-
way it healed right.
Well, no, because I never went to the hospital. I just like tape that bitch up. I'm gonna keep playing. But yeah, I
See, that's the problem you would have had. Is you would have like barely hurt your knee, like you sprained it. But you would have been the dumbass. Well, tape it up. I'm going back in the game, and then you fuck up.
Well, college is a little different though, because colleges they say, okay, if you're hurt, I'm not sending you back in there. They're not derby.
Well, they
Well,
might.
you have a broken knee. Well, fuck, we can just do some Miyagi shit and go send you back into the game because we don't have an extra quarterback.
It depends on the situation, I guess, because like there are times where colleges will send you back out there if they need to.
Well, yeah,
But
if it's
you
national
also-
championship or something.
you also have the ability to say this doesn't mean as much as what comes next.
right?
Especially
if
at
I
that
had
point-
if I had NFL teams,
Like
looking
once
at me.
you're in college, it's like,
Like-
okay, you'll know, do I even have a shot of getting drafted? If I do, I'm not going back in.
well, yeah, exactly.
I'll sit out with the sprained knee and not take the chance of tearing something.
I'll give up a national championship over the rest of my life being made. basically.
Yeah, right. I
could go play
hate that.
NFL football for 5 years and be good for the rest of my life.
Like, I hate that. There are people, because I can't remember who did it, but somebody sat out a national championship.
But you're going to take a lot of heat for doing that.
I can't remember who, but they were like, yeah, this guy, he really doesn't want to win. It's like, he saw his future in front of him and couldn't risk it.
Yeah.
Which, fair. Especially that guy, because he was like, he wasn't just going to get drafted. He was a first-round draft pick. That first contract just that. It's like he saw, I can either have my life made or win a ring.
Right.
I'm choosing the rest of my life over this one thing. Now, once you're in the NFL, do you risk I have a sprain, a knee sprain, but it's the Super Bowl. Right. Then it's like, okay.
Well, yeah, because
even if you get hurt,
summer.
It's over. Well, and if you get hurt, it's like, I still made my money, whatever.
Right.
But you're also NFL doctors, or who's going to be helping you out.
Yeah, and there's people who shattered their fucking femurs and come back the next year to play.
Well, again, look at Adrian Peterson. He tore all that was left in his knee was cartilage, and he was back in 6 months and had the best season a running back's ever had.
I was just watching the other day. They were doing like recaps and shit.
Sure.
I can't remember who it was, but they'd had knee surgery like a week and a half, and then he came in and played and fucking
There were a couple people. Mark Schlereth did that a couple times. Back surgeries,
and
knee
just
surgeries.
Came in and just wrecked.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he broke a record on his first.
I have no idea.
It was like the second game of the NFL season. He had outrageous amounts of touchdowns and yardage.
Yeah, it's wild.
They just kept giving him the ball and they could not stop him. Who the fuck was that? Might have been Adrian Peterson. Who the fuck knows?
Could have been. He was wild, dude. Prime Adrian Peterson was the coolest thing to see. Like, if there was one person that I'm glad I got to go to an NFL game and see play, it was him. And actually, it wasn't until through the first 3 quarters I was so pissed. He had like 10 carries for 24 yards. I was like, man, really, I'm going to get the one game where AP doesn't show up, huh? And then fucking 82-yard touchdown run. I was like, okay, there's the guy I remember. That's why I'm here. Never going to forget that day. I also got to see Peyton Manning play that day, so that was kind of sick. But
yeah,
AP's cool.
Yeah, everybody, no matter who you are, throughout your life, you're always going to have regrets.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of things I do.
It's just a part of life, because when you get to that your high school career, you have to make a decision, and it's normally
or even before the end of your high school career, you make a decision. I made multiple that put me in the situation where I'm in.
Well, and
see, there's multiple things for me. Like, I regret leaving Guernsey, because I say I probably would have graduated if I stayed. But there's also the thing of all the cool teachers that were there, that was the reason I loved Guernsey so much, left within a year of me leaving. So it's also like, I don't know if that would have actually changed anything. Then it's like, well, do I regret, not working harder and trying to go into different fields? It's like, I don't know. I'm not at the point where I know yet. Because, if this does take off at some point, I won't have a single regret. If it never does, then I will.
Well, I will tell you this. The power plant is not my dream career or anything like that. It was just the things that I dreamed that I would really enjoy doing are just so far-fetched that there's no reason to even...
Isn't this far-fetched?
But, NFL actually probably would have been better option, because I like paleontology, archaeology, stuff like that, and that's really hard to make a career out of. It's being those kind of things. And for one, you have to go through a lot of fucking schooling, and then once you get done with schooling, where are you going to find a job? You have to, in order to make it as an archaeologist or something like that, you have to be like Josh Gates, Expedition Unknown. He's got himself a TV show, travels the world. He's a world-renowned, archaeologist.
Sure.
And how many world-renowned archaeologists do you know? 2? 3?
None. Because
Yeah.
Archaeology is not my thing. But also, how many world-renowned physicists do you know? Like 2, maybe?
Yeah, but the thing is there's always, there's a lot of things you can do with physiology.
What physiology's, I think something
Oh,
else.
that's right. Physics.
I didn't.
But like, NASA,
Sure.
I know they have at least 60 of them or more.
Sure. I'd want to
But-
be one of the guys who worked at like a university, not teaching classes, but just researching,
Right.
just spending my entire life trying to figure out
So basically,
what makes the universe tick,
right?
like a Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory,
Right. Yeah. So,
or I'm not going to compare myself to Sheldon. Let's say Leonard. I'm more of a Leonard.
yeah. But but the things that I actually enjoy doing and would love to do and make good money at for the rest of my life, they're just not going to work. It just
See,
won't work.
I could sit here and say that about this though.
But this
You
could
don't
work.
know if so could any of those other things. You don't know for a fact that it won't work. Like, the odds of this working are almost zero. I mean, I'm not going to give it a shot.
Right. But you don't have to go spend $480,000 a year to go get the
You
schooling.
don't either.
If I went into paleontology or archaeology, I would have to.
You have to go to a bigger school, but
yeah.
not $480,000 a year. I don't even think Harvard's that.
But what I'm
Sure,
saying is, it's
lots of
expensive.
money. Sure. There are also grants that you can get, scholarships, different things that you could have gotten if that.
Yeah, but you're still.
You
gonna end
also
up
went to
having debt.
Lingle, though, where they didn't know how to handle anything.
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to say Guernsey knew how to handle that better than fucking
Yeah.
Lingle. What? See what
See, because
Guernsey does different
they
from Lingle.
knew what I wanted to do, so they were, I was with the counselor almost every day, like, all right, here's the different things we can do. It's like, okay, here's how I get to this point without having to spend almost anything.
See, here's the difference between Lingle and Guernsey.
Yeah.
Lingle, you take your ACT and they go, okay, this is what you can get. You can this Hathaway, this Hathaway, this Hathaway.
Right, they go only with the Hathaway.
With the Hathaway, that's it. They never told me that there were all of these countless numbers of scholarships that I could have applied for in Wyoming. That Wyoming offers.
Or even
exclusively.
nationally.
Or nationally, yes.
And not just scholarships, they didn't tell you shit about grants.
Yeah, and stuff
And
like
grants
that.
are huge.
But you go to, because I've been to a lot of both. The
Sure.
graduations at Lingle and the graduations at
Guernsey.
Guernsey. In Lingle, you hear a kid, okay, he got this scholarship.
Shadow! With the 25 bits. How's it going, my guy? Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
So at Lingle, they announce, okay, they got the Middle Hathaway, and then
Sure.
they got this weird scholarship.
Right.
But you go to Guernsey, they're like, okay, they got $142,000 worth of scholarships to start off their educational career.
Yeah.
It's like,
Lingle.
where the fuck was I? Why was I not going to Guernsey?
Nobody we graduated had anything close to that in Lingle.
Right.
Not even like Landon and Reagan and all the
people who
super
were
smart
fucking
people.
Smart? Yeah.
Or anybody. Like nobody got
But
shit
what
for
pissed me
scholarships
off
and
is,
shit.
like, I was
Yo,
like,
Dada with the host, I appreciate
So
it.
I just, in my mind, when I first heard that, the first thing
Sure.
I went to, I was like, okay, well, maybe that's just because they live in Platte County, a little more money.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, and then I learned from Destiny.
Yeah.
It's like, she's like, no, you guys could have applied for this.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't they tell us this shit? Like, this could have made or break a lot of people in Lingle.
Oh, and it did. So many people that we were in our classes didn't end up going to school because they couldn't afford it.
Like,
Original.
Jessica Debo, she's fucking in debt already.
For a long time, I thought I wouldn't have been able to go to school. I chose not to, but if I would have went to school, I would have went to any of the universities I was actually looking at for physics for free.
Right.
It wouldn't. I would have lived there for free, just off of grants and stuff. Because Guernsey showed me, hey, this is what you need to do. I was like, oh, that's fucking sick. Oh yeah, all's good, man. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, so stupid. Our school systems here are so fucking broken.
Well, they need to be,
And like
it needs to be equal opportunity. I feel if you have, as a school, if there is all these scholarships that kids can, have an opportunity to get, why would you not tell them about it? Why? What? That's just
That all
lazy
comes
to me
down-
as an educational system.
Well,
You
and it
want
all
your
comes
kids
down to
go
your
college.
the guidance counselor. That's their job.
Right.
And,
And I like, I like
Ling-
Shannon.
Yeah,
but-
Lingles was good, but I learned after I left that she wasn't as good as I thought. Not at her job. She was a cool lady, but
in my mind, it's almost like she didn't know about him either.
either she didn't know or she just didn't give a fuck. And I don't know which one pisses me off more. Incompetence or laziness, I have no clue which one pisses me off more. They both piss me the fuck off, though.
Right. Well, and if it's in incompetence, it's not necessarily her fault because she still gets informed through the school board. So,
But at some point, you also still have to inform yourself.
Right. It's still her job to, but
Like, especially when your job is directly in line with kids' futures.
right.
Like, it is
You
your
could be
job
the
to
difference between whether or not this kid becomes
stays in Lingle and is just a farmer.
Yeah.
Which,
Hello.
sure, we need we need those. I'm
Yes,
not trying
yes.
to put that down, but there's a lot of,
I would love to farm.
Sure.
If I could, if I knew there was money in farming, I would farm for the rest of my life. I wouldn't care.
Gatto with another 45 bits. I appreciate
But
it, my guy.
The difference is farming is a dying industry.
Yep.
Believe it or not, which is fucking crazy to me because
We're
farmers are
gonna
who
need food.
support America. They support China. They
support the world.
The people who support. I feel like farmers should be paid like doctors and lawyers. The people who you can't have doctors and lawyers without farmers because they keep them fed. They keep them. You don't have food. You have places like India.
Sure.
People are starving and they can't, you can't have a prospering economy if there's no food. Everybody's starving.
My question is, why is there no money in farming?
It's because of the middleman. That, especially with cattle right now, you can't give away your cattle
Really?
right now. It's that bad. Like
But-
Bob,
But everywhere's talking about how there's a shortage of meat. How does that work?
Exactly. See, this is where it's fucked. So you can go to your local, even Walmart,
Your local
And-
Walmart.
and try to buy a steak, but they're like $18 a pound. That's fucking crazy. Or there's one steak there, and it's almost $100 for 3 T-bones.
Or even if they're not that expensive, they're shitty steaks. Like you can go to Safeway right now and buy a ribeye, and they're like $9 steaks, whatever. But they're like this thick. What the fuck is the point?
Yeah, but
It's a steak. Why
what
did
I'm
I
saying,
eat Weird Al O'Shore?
its demand is extremely high.
Right?
They have a high ass demand for meat right now because there's a shortage.
Sure.
But you can't give your cattle away. That's not how supply and demand works.
No, it seems backwards.
If there's a big demand, supply goes up, and also prices for supply. It especially if you can't give your cow away, and yet steaks are still $100 in the store. Where's all this money going?
Yeah,
it ain't the
seems
store,
backwards.
and it ain't
Right.
it ain't the ranchers. So it's the middleman. Back in the day, a long time ago, cattle rustlers, they got hung. Nowadays, they run the meat market. They run the cattle market. Fucking crazy.
Hey,
I
my
can't
bot
believe it.
finally decided to work. Only been
bot.
an hour.
38 minutes.
I hate that thing. 48.
But
It's just dumb, man.
yeah, just,
It's-
I actually, I like farming. It's entertaining. You're never doing the same thing. Even if you are doing the same thing, it's never, everything doesn't always work out the same way every day.
Sure.
One day you might come across a rattlesnake. Exciting. You
That's
never know.
exciting.
No,
it's not.
You just never know.
Fucking
you never
hate
know what's
snakes.
gonna happen.
But it's weird. Our school system in the US is so weird. Because there are teachers that I think should not be in charge of classrooms full of, the future of the world. Because they don't know what the fuck. I think there comes a point the same way I say with politics, I don't want to get into politics, but I think there comes a point when you might be too. Shadow with the sub, I appreciate you, my guy. Damn, just going off over here. But it's like I think there comes a point when you don't know enough about the actual world anymore to teach people how to handle it. Because how long were we being told the only way to have a future is by going to college?
Right.
Which, in the world we live in, is not true. Now, was there a time when that was true? Yes. But
Yeah,
now
nowadays-
that is not anywhere near true.
Yeah, nowadays, I mean, you could go out there and you could have, a PhD and then still not go anywhere. So now you're just in debt,
And now
still
you
didn't
can
get a job.
not have jobs, and you can start your own company, you can do the streaming thing, you can be a professional video game player. That is never what I'm going to consider myself as, because I'm not fucking good enough at video games to be that. I'm just an entertainer. I just try to be entertaining to people, because that is something I've always thought of myself as being good at. Don't actually know if I am, though. I don't have any proof that I'm good at it. I just like to think I am.
Right.
But
Yeah, I don't know. Also in the educational system, you never see anything that's worth a shit that's
Right.
being taught.
well, they don't teach you anything that's worth a shit, and they basically only tell you that, they don't even tell you that, like, trades are useful jobs.
Right.
They just tell you, like, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be a this, and then they teach you the most worthless information.
Right. Information that you'll never use throughout your entire life.
No.
They teach you that. You know what needs to firearms need to come back to school. Archery needs to come back to school. How to process game, how to process your own meats, how to grow your own food.
How about how to pay taxes? How
to do your finances, how
Yeah.
to
finances would be nice to know.
Yeah.
I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
They just never teach you anything important or anything that you'll
God,
use throughout
fucker.
your life.
I'm drinking coffee for the second one.
But it's just like they do like a 8-week class of personal financing.
God, fuck.
Well, how are you
Chill out.
supposed to learn anything in 8 weeks? Especially there's
Wait,
so
you got
much to
8
cover.
weeks of finance?
Yeah, I did.
I was gonna say I
And that's
didn't, but
because
also
I
dropped
chose to go to that class. It wasn't a.
out. I didn't, but I
it
also
wasn't a
dropped out,
requirement.
so I missed a year. So I don't know what happened.
But normally your junior and senior year you have to do, or you can do it.
I know in my junior year I never got the option.
But
I
one of
didn't
the
have a
biggest
senior
problems.
year.
One of the biggest problems is because these teachers don't know how to teach it.
Right.
That's one of the biggest problems. Like
I wonder it's
took
your
some-
turn. Do a dab. Don't punch me. Thanks,
I
man.
was hoping.
Yeah. I knew that was your plan as soon as you raised your elbow a little bit. I was like, oh.
Bah! Like karate chop you across the face.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed.
But yeah, the way
Like
the only way we were the only person that's been able to teach that class is Mrs. Couch, who her husband had to be a judge, big time judge. It takes a person like that in order to teach and actually know and to teach useful information
about finances.
about finances. There's people out there, everybody who's an adult and has been out of school for a while, they can tell you, okay, well, this is
That's not true.
well,
I can't go ask Kevin about finances.
Well, you know why? It's because you have all these places that are like, okay, I'll just give you my money and you take care of it for me.
Well, no, or it's because they've been married since they were close out of high school, and so
spouses always taking
their
care of it.
parents handled everything, and then all of a sudden their spouse did.
Yeah.
Like there are people I don't know if Kevin has some skills. I don't know if he could actually live in this world without Rena.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could either. She handles all my shit too. She tries to teach me this
See,
is what you do, but it's like holy fuck.
So I still pay H&R Block to take care of my taxes for me.
Sure.
But I still I don't just go, here's my money, here's my information, take care of my taxes for me. I'll still go there, be like, okay, this is, I don't know if you can use this to get me tax relief, or, okay, I did this year for college, that should get me a tax
Right.
relief. I still do all that stuff, and they'll ask for that.
Right.
But this is a good example of still have to pay attention to what's going on.
Yep.
So, my dad, we had like this environmental company come out and plant trees for us.
Sure.
And so how that works is you give them a lump sum of money.
Right.
They come out and they use half that money to plant the trees.
Sure.
But they hold that other half of that money for a while, and then once the trees are done and they, are done with their job, they send that money back to you. Well, come time when after we got our check back, it's basically our money.
Sure.
Dad went to go do his taxes, and he was going through all the tax information and stuff just for shits and giggles. Wasn't really thinking much about it.
Sure.
They taxed him for that. It was like $2,400. They taxed him they taxed him as income.
Sure.
Total income. That's not right. So Dad had to go back to H&R Block and say, this isn't right. You can't tax me. You can't tax me on this as income because it was my money to start with. It was
Right.
already taxed.
Right.
It was my money. I gave them $2,400
Right.
to hold for in case they needed to use it. And if they didn't use it, they send it back. That's still my money.
Right.
It's already been taxed.
You don't have to yell at me.
And it was just frustrating because they just kept looking at him like, I don't get it. And that's the people that are supposed to be professionals.
Right.
So then we kind of moved on to somebody that was a little more educated at their job.
Well, a lot of the so-called professionals are just people. Like, you
Right.
could go get a job at H&R Block.
But they
Which-
filed the tax.
Which is confusing to me.
They can
Like,
still.
I feel like you should have gone to college for something to be able to do that.
a lot of them do have a lot. They're
But
pretty good.
A lot of them
are.
don't either, which is what.
But they're still human. They make mistakes.
Well, sure, but not having any sort of background in it bugs me. They go, "What'd you go to college for?" Oh, I was, I went to culinary school. Why the fuck are you handling my money then? Fuck
Well,
off.
Most everybody at H&R Block actually have education and financing type stuff. So they're really good. Really, they really are. They're smart people, but they make mistakes sometimes. And we still ended up having to pay taxes on that income. But the next time it happens, they won't. They'll be able to. Okay, shit. This happened once before. We need to not charge this as income. It was already their money. It was already taxed.
Right.
But they had already
Just like
sent
if
all
you-
that information into the government. So
Just like if you get a refund. Like if I bought a $2,000 TV and it never showed up, or it showed up broken, and I get a refund on it, that's not new income.
Yeah,
you can't tax me on that.
that's double taxation.
You already taxed that money.
That's technically
I'm just
theft.
getting it back because they fucked me over, right?
Yeah. What?
He's wrong.
Do
way.
a flip?
Do a flip.
Huh?
Do a flip. There's not room in here to do a flip. Do a flip without breaking anything. Also, don't kick the ceiling fan. There you go. You just shook my whole room.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if you got any of that on the camera.
I don't know how much of it was on camera either. I wasn't really prepared for, flip doing.
Well, I guess we could watch over here. Got a delay.
Maybe even over here. I don't know what the delay is like. I don't know where the delay's at here.
I don't know. We must be pretty far behind.
Yeah, we are. we really, really are. What were we talking about again?
Personal financing,
Oh,
taxes.
yeah, I
and
don't
shit.
care enough to keep talking about that. But there's lots of things. You know what? I'm still pissed off. You were in this class with me. Foods too.
Oh yeah.
When we cooked 3 times all year.
Right.
We were in Foods and we were
and-
learning about hotel management.
Right.
Oh, fuck, were you there for the class where I was bitching at her? I was like, this is fucking Foods, not...
Right.
This is Foods, not hotels. Fucking, let's... What are we doing? Well, you need to know this stuff. No, I don't. If I want to open up a restaurant, I don't need to know how to handle a hotel.
Right.
The fuck are you talking about? If I want to just be a chef, I don't want to open a restaurant. I just
Zimmer,
want to cook.
wasn't it?
No, Ostick?
Oh yeah. Well, it was Zimmer for my first year, and then the second
For
year
Foods
was
1,
Ostick.
you had...
I like Zimmer.
Because I had
we
Foods
cooked
1
all
with...
the
Who
time.
the fuck was my Foods 1 teacher?
Probably Miss Zimmer.
No, I didn't take Foods 1 in Lingle.
Oh.
I took Foods 1 in Guernsey.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, we had. And she was all healthy. So we couldn't cook anything with sugar, or we had to make cupcakes without sugar. I'm like, what the? How do you make a cupcake? What? You
Just make
wanna
bread.
I'll just go out there and lick a dog turd.
They say make bread, but it's like bread also uses sugar. If you actually know how to make bread.
Well, you can. You.
No, bread. Go look at the packaging for any bread. Bread uses sugar. Not a ton.
Oh, here it goes.
Oh, wow, we're behind. Oh, got most of it.
That was the most athletic thing I've done
In years.
since this morning.
You didn't do shit this
I had
morning.
to climb over a barbed wire fence that was like
oh, wow.
it was like angled
Oh,
towards me.
wow.
It was, and then the post broke, and I was like, "Oh shit! Oh shit!"
Sick flip. Hashtag goat.
Yeah.
You're a goat now. No, that's not what he meant, but alright.
I'm a goat.
Carol Baskins. Did you ever watch Tiger King? Because I fucking didn't.
I heard enough of that shit without watching it.
Oh, look at that. Some guy tweeted out, say hi or get unfollowed. And I was like, but you don't follow me to begin with, but hi. And he just goes fixed and then followed me.
Oh.
That's how you network on Twitter. The fuck was that?
Amazon. Shazam!
Shazam!
Amazon available to rent. Shazam!
Shazam!
Who does that off of Andy Griffith? Oh, it's Gomer. Shazam!
That's wrong. You know who does that? Shazam, the superhero.
Gomer was there first.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Okay, so how old is Shazam?
I don't know. How old's the Shazam comic books? I don't know.
I bet Andy Griffith is older.
When was the first Shazam comic written? 1973.
Andy Griffith is like, in the
Wait.
60s. New stories and reference from the 40s and 50s. But Shazam was not a thing until...
Shazam made his first appearance in the comics in 1939. First appeared in Wiz Comics number 2, quickly becoming the most popular comic book character of the 1940s.
Well, then maybe that's how Gomer got...
So Shazam, motherfucker!
That was really loud. But,
Good.
maybe that's how Gomer got his Shazam thing.
Maybe.
Shazam!
I don't know.
Innocence rest.
They made a Shazam movie, and I'm very curious as to how good it was.
Apparently not that good because I never heard about it, so...
My stream on Xbox just started skipping to catch up, I think. Literally cut to Wonder saying, lick a dog turd. Yes. No, that was the context. He just said, I'm going to go lick a dog turd. And that was the context. Why are you licking your lips like, yeah.
I already did it.
Dog turd. Yeah.
Tastes like the inside of a tire.
Tastes like the inside of a tire.
It needs more garlic.
Needs more garlic. S&P, the choice for me. Sorry. I don't know. Do we have any other stupid school shit we got to talk about? I know we told the story about you nearly punching Lashley.
Lashley.
Yeah, we've told some school stories. Do we got any other ones?
Remember that time you thought you were going to die because we had a lockdown?
I didn't think I was gonna die. What?
Do that.
No.
Remember when they had like a surprise fucking drug search in
When?
time ago?
Like elementary or
No. It
or
would've
like
been-
high school.
So the
still?
one year you were here might have been when you were in middle school.
Okay.
Were you in lingo once in middle school?
6th grade? Yeah.
6th grade. So it would have been when you were in
No.
6th grade.
The fuck
And I would have been fresh 8th grader. An 8th grader. And we were in. I remember because I was in the middle school, and then we went to the middle school gym.
Shit.
Yeah, I went into the middle school gym. We were, high school had their gym,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and we had Kyle Cotton as the gym teacher, and so we just got done with gym, and I had just walked into this one. We had Mrs. Krauser as a principal. I had just walked into the high school gym.
She was.
You were in choir. For band. You were in band.
Maybe.
Yes, you were in band. I remember this.
I'm not sure I do, but
Traumatic things you tend to.
I don't. I fuel myself off traumatic things.
But, anyway, I was coming out
Give
of
me some more context here.
So, anyway, I was walking out of the middle school into the high school gym. And, Mrs. Krauser, the principal, busts through the door. And she's like, Otis in the building! Remember that? Otis in the
No.
building? So Otis in the
don't
building.
remember that.
So that was the lockdown word. So
Sure.
like if somebody were to yell Otis in the building, or it comes over the intercom says Otis is currently in the building, means that there's an active shooter or a person with a gun inside of the building.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
So, Miss Krauser come running into the gym and she was like, Otis in the building, and I remember it was me and it was Cody Powell. And because we were walking, we were talking, we're like, Otis in the building. At first we didn't, and then it was like, oh shit! So we turned around and we like ran into the gym and we were like, Otis in the building. Kyle Cotton was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? That's not something funny to joke about. And I was like, I'm not kidding. Mr. Krauser just ran in and said, Otis in the building. He's like, oh shit, okay. So
okay.
So we all just piled into the men's restroom. Remember where the men's restroom?
Yeah.
You go past all the bleachers, and then it was like,
Yeah.
So we all piled into the men's restroom, and he just locked us all in there. And I was like, let's go fight this bastard. You know, like all of us guys are like, let's go fight him.
That's the most wonder thing to hear, sure.
And Kyle Cotton's like, no, we're all just gonna stay here, and everybody's got to be quiet. Everybody stay quiet. He had like the lights turned off and shit, so it was like pitch black in this bathroom. And
somebody was probably getting a hand job.
No. But Brenda Ransom's like, I gotta pee.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. She always has to pee. But anyway. So Kyle Cotton's like, okay, so he had his assistant. He had like that buff assistant with like the arm tattoo, the flame tattoo on his arm.
No.
And
I don't know if I remember him.
he was like a gym assistant.
Apparently, this was way too fucking
remember
long
that guy's
ago.
name.
Apparently, this was way too long ago. Because I'm like, I still don't even know if Krauser was the principal my 6th grade year.
She was, because
I think it
was my 8th grade year when she was principal. She was only here for a year.
No.
Or 2. She wasn't here very long.
She was I know she was the principal while I was in elementary. That was before they have separate principals for elementary now?
Yes.
I swear that's the thing. That was before they did that.
Because it's Corey Gilchrist, and then...
Because I know she was principal at least once while I was in elementary.
So I bet she was principal...
So I'm wondering if you're a year off. You're thinking of somebody else from when you were 7th grade. So I don't remember half of this shit.
I'm pretty sure it was you, because it was like... Yeah, I know it was you. For sure.
Okay, let's continue your story, because I still don't know what's happening.
Anyway, Otis in the building, and they finally, after we sat in that bathroom for like, I don't know, 3.5 hours before finally somebody came and got us. They like opened the door and, everybody was all ready to go, Well, Mrs. Krauser finally came and got us, and I was pissed because I was like, oh yeah, that's how we could just slip out the door and go away, but instead we're hiding in a fucking bathroom.
Sure.
And where he could just walk in and pick us all off, and there's nowhere we can go.
Sure.
So
yeah, I've never understood the whole act.
That was
well, you know what pissed me off more? Was it your senior year where we had another bomb threat or whatever? We all got sent to the football field. It's like what the fuck? School's still 10 feet away. Like, what are we doing?
Hide behind the metal bleachers.
And it was like, I want to leave. You know, I was just like, I'm just gonna fucking leave. No, you can't. It's like, why?
Well, yeah. And then after 15 minutes, they're like, okay, everybody can just go home.
Yeah.
Like, wait. But yeah. So anyway, they finally came and got us, and we were all confused. We're like, what the fuck happened? Did anybody get killed? You know, we didn't hear any gunshots or anything like that.
Right.
So they brought us back. We walked through the gym, and I remember walking into the commons area. If you came in through the high school and stuff, and you guys, it was you and your class coming out of the choir room.
Okay.
You guys were doing band with Mrs. Jesperson, and like half of your class was like bawling because you were sitting right there where you could look through that door window, and all these people came in. You know, these couple of guys came in with guns, wearing guns and stuff. And so it freaked the shit out. You guys thought you were going to die.
I believe that.
So you guys were all freaked out and crying. Well, it turned out to be a random drug search for the school. And they
Krauser
had
just didn't know.
Undercover police officers, and apparently
you
nobody told.
Do that.
Yeah, so nobody told anybody.
Especially if the principal didn't know.
Yeah, the principal
fuck.
didn't even. So the school board knew about it. But the principal, they neglected to tell them that, hey, we're going to have a random drug search of the school. So Miss Krauser's sitting there in her principal's office, and here comes guys with guns through the freaking door. So it sent the whole school into lockdown.
Sure.
Which they would have had to do it anyway, so the cops could do the drug search and stuff anyway. But they could have at least told us what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, if we knew that instead of the dudes with guns
thinking,
over
oh my god, we're all gonna die.
Well, no, I kind of remember that. Only I remember my plan. The music room had a fucking door.
Yeah, out the back.
Yeah, just outside. I was like, why don't we just fucking leave?
Yeah.
Hello?
But they just lock us down, and I'm like, I'm fine in that. But their worry is that people go in through this door, it flushes everybody out this other door, and they're going to pick us off as we come out that door. That's their worry. I'm like, okay, but I'd rather do that because I can run.
Right, I have a chance
versus sitting in a room and waiting to be shot.
Especially like all our school. Well, I guess a lot of schools do this, but all the doors had windows. They could just look in.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna know we're in there.
Yeah, and so, but anyway, yeah, so, and they brought in drug dogs and shit like that, and there was somebody that got popped with drugs. They had marijuana or something.
Shocker.
Yeah, real shocker. But
fuck, that's still one of my other favorite things about Guernsey. They could not drug test us. Well, okay, they could. Right. But the entire school would have failed.
They wouldn't have anybody in Guernsey school.
Like, they knew for a fact. There were like 3 kids that they drug tested once a year. And those were the 3 kids that they just knew. They were like, yeah, they don't do this because of something. I was not one of them. That's probably why I don't remember much about my first stint in Lingle. I was high the entire time I was in Guernsey.
So... we had another lockdown drill. It was just a drill.
Sure.
And I ended up in the choir room because it was first thing in the morning.
Sure.
And my plan was, well, if I had to, just remember that old ass freaking paper cutter that Miss Jesperson had? Yeah. I was like, there's like a loose ass nut that holds that on. Yeah. I have a machete on the go, like ready to go. Yeah. All I'd have to do is just go, okay, I got a freaking machete this long. It's,
See, we had another lockdown when we were younger.
I remember that.
The first bomb threat, because it was meant for Torrington, Connecticut. Yeah. And they called... I don't know why Lingle got locked down, because Torrington was under a bomb threat. But it's like they still called the wrong fucking number. Like, I don't know.
I remember that, because they had us all go to the church.
Yep.
And we were standing...
I just left.
They just said everybody go home.
Well, Trent was still in school. So he was like, fuck it, I'm just going home. So he just came and grabbed me because he wasn't bringing me. We had a bomb threat my senior year. Somebody wrote, "There's a bomb." Please tell me it was misspelled like that. Please. Bomb in school. Literally just like that. Oh.
There's a John.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, okay. So, we hopped on buses, and they drove us to the nearest church. What the fuck is it with churches?
I don't know. Apparently, God is gonna save us all.
But God's not real! Sorry. Nearest church, we hung out there all day, and it was on a Friday during football season, so we almost had to forfeit a game. We were all pissed, and he cleared the building and said there's no bombs. So we got to play the game. It was 2 hours later, which...
That's a late-ass fucking football game if it starts 2 hours late.
Right?
Because our football games didn't start till 7:30.
Oh, fuck, yeah, 9:30.
So, yeah.
Oh, my God.
So you wouldn't start a football game. So then normally a football game will take a couple hours.
See, at least you guys got to have football games on Friday nights.
Right.
In Guernsey, we had them on Saturday days.
Oh, that's gross, dude.
Well, the high school would get them at night, but I wasn't on the high school team because I was on the middle school team because I was in middle school. So it was like, the fucked up one was like, one Saturday, it was a game at like 11 a.m. in Hannah.
Oh.
So we had to get on the bus at like 4 fucking 30. I was like, man, I was out partying until 2:30 this morning. This is bad.
Well, at least you got like a 7-hour drive to sleep on the bus.
Yeah, but there were some assholes who were actually awake for a drive on the bus. And I'm there, like, half hungover, still high, like, will you shut the fuck up? I need to sleep.
Everybody's trying to sleep, and they're just...
Oh, one time we duct taped one of those kids down to a seat and duct taped his mouth closed. We did not deal well. Because, like, everybody but that one kid was just like me, high as fuck, and we're just like, nope, we're done.
Tape his ass.
Well, we gave him multiple tries, and we even said, it's like, sit down and shut the fuck up, or we're taping you to a chair.
Big streamer news.
What big streamer news are you wanting to talk about? Which one? There's lots of big streamer news.
Fine.
Pokimane. What's she lie about? I honestly have no fucking clue. Stream is skipping. Shocker. We have shitty internet. We live in Wyoming.
Yep.
That's how it goes. What Pokimane news am I missing? Inform me, my friend. Tell me something I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt that's something we don't know about.
What? Pokimane? Yeah, I've never really, like, I like Pokimane, but I've never, like, watched one of her streams.
We got 2-hour delay. And...
Oh my god. Oh. Ugh.
I liked doing sports in high school because it got me out of math a lot.
How?
Because
on road games, probably. Never home games.
No, not home games, but we had a lot of road games, so no.
Because I was gonna say, because on Fridays we got out of school at like 1:30, so you'd have 6 hours before a game. Because I remember, even though I didn't play, I'd always go home and take a nap before the football games, then drive back in.
Right. Our routine was we had some kick-ass moms that always cooked good food. Sure. So they would go into the basement of the church and cook us a great-ass meal, and then we'd all hang out there until the football game.
Right? Does everyone's mom around here know how to cook?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. I know so many people who I've talked to, are like, my mom can't cook for shit. It's like, really?
It's like, how does your mom not... I mean, I get some people not being able to cook. Like, at the same time, don't you like to enjoy home cooking sometimes?
See, that's my thing. It's like, I know how to cook, but we might have an issue soon. It's like, but for me, it's like, I know how to cook, but would I rather just order food from somewhere? My thing is, no, I don't want fast food. That's why I want to live somewhere like city-ish, so I can just order food from an actual restaurant. So it's actual cooked good food. and bring it to me. Because for me, it takes way too much time to cook when I want to stream for 10 hours and then edit a video. It's like, I don't have time.
Yeah, that's how it was for me. I had math last period. Some days we had games on Thursdays and stuff. So.
You were lucky, though, because Lingle did blocks, not periods.
Yep.
Because Guernsey, that was my least favorite thing. I had to take every single class every single day.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, at least one day I'd have a break off from math, you know? But
see,
it alternated every week.
Right.
So 1 week A day would start on a Monday. The next week A day would be a B day. Or on A day would be a B day.
Yeah.
A day would be a Monday.
Right. It was weird. See, in Guernsey, though, not only was it that, but you had 8 classes, all 8 of your actual classes, but you also had Viking, which was like our study hall.
Right.
Which the fact that we called it Viking was fucking terrible. And then a 30-minute lunch. So every one of my classes was like 30 minutes long. That's it.
Right.
So it's
How
like,
are you supposed to learn anything in 30 minutes?
Because so all it was that 30 minutes was just their lecture. Them telling you how to do things. And then if you had problems with stuff, you had to go to them during that Viking period and go talk to them. It was, holy fuck.
Terrible way to learn.
Went back to Lingle and got block schedules, and I was like, holy fuck, this is nice. I mean, it sucked because...
Well, like, yeah, you had to spend an hour and a half versus 30 minutes in the classroom, but
and
at least you still had...
So they got done, and in Lingle, they lectured for way less time.
Yeah.
Like, in Guernsey, it was the whole 30 minutes. In Lingle, it was like the first 15. And then it was like, here's your work. It's like, yeah, first of all, I'm not going to do the work because I don't care.
Right.
So now I'm sitting here for an hour and 15 minutes just doing what? I can't even jerk off because we're in school. So, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here?
Yeah, I don't know.
The football team... Oh, see, what the fuck? In Guernsey, we didn't get that shit. But also, because our games were on fucking Saturdays. So lame. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think that was probably the best part. One of the best parts was just, you know, hanging out in a church and eating, like, all of this freaking food. We'd be so bloated by the time the game come around. That's so bad. Especially because they always cook shit like fried chicken and pastas and shit like that. So you were just like, oh my god, by the time the game rolled around.
What time did they feed you?
So...
Because it would have been smart if they did it at like 2.
Well, normally... it depended too, depending on what they made.
Sure.
Because they didn't start cooking until they wanted it hot, so they would start cooking right before school ended.
Right.
And so we would... sometimes we'd go to the football field first.
Weird.
And kind of do some weird shit there, depending on the day.
Our classes were set up so that they'd change every day, but first and last period stayed... Ugh. What?
That's confusing as shit.
Yeah, that's dumb. I mean, periods are dumb in general, but that extra dumb. Just give me my blocks.
Well, yeah, I don't understand why you had to change it. Why did not just keep them the same?
Well, and for like science classes, blocks were sick. Because I actually gave a fuck about science.
Right.
So having that full hour and a half was sick.
Well, yeah, because I like...
You could do shit, you could,
I like biology and shit like that.
Right.
I mean,
because at the time, science was still, like, what I was gonna do.
That was the only class that I probably aced throughout my entire school career. It's biology and science classes.
I aced everything, which was wild.
Yeah. Well,
which pissed people off because I didn't show the fuck up for school.
What pissed me off the most, though, is this how fucked the ACT is. Science is my strongest...
It was your lowest ACT, wasn't it?
But it was my lowest
Really?
ACT. Well, besides math.
Because science was my highest, which made sense.
Yeah, but the reason I did so bad on I wouldn't have done so bad on my math, but we took our ACT our junior year.
What was your ACT score?
17.
Really?
Yeah, I would have had a 20 something if it were because I did that bad on math.
Damn.
Because this is what happened. So I got held back. I shouldn't have been. I got held back my 8th grade going into my freshman year. Mrs. Coral and Shannon decided that. Yeah, I got held back because I was in pre-algebra my freshman year.
Oh, just that class.
Yeah, so I got held back in math instead of being in pre-algebra or in algebra 1 my freshman year.
That's
I was
not
in pre-algebra. Yes, I got held.
How far ahead was I? 'Cause my freshman year, I was taking algebra
Well,
2.
see, the reason you were so far ahead is because you went to Guernsey for a while.
Well, when I went to Guernsey, I wasn't with my class for math.
Right.
Because my 8th grade year, I took algebra 1, so I was with
Yeah. You still had opportunities
sophomores
to
or
take
juniors.
more math classes.
Right.
If you were that good.
But
at
my
math.
freshman year, I took my last math class that I needed to take.
Right.
Because I didn't.
Well, you only needed algebra 2.
Right. So my freshman year, I took my last math class
So,
that I needed.
My junior year
So I
is
just
when
didn't
I
take
should have
math.
been taking algebra 2.
Right.
But instead, on my freshman year, I took pre-algebra, even though pre-algebra is what you do in 8th grade, basically. It just gets you ready.
That's
for
what you're
algebra
supposed
1.
to. But yeah.
So, my 8th grade year, I did pre-algebra, and I passed the class with like an 86. But Mrs. Coral and Fleming got together and called my parents and said, "I don't think he's mature enough to move on."
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I to this day I still do not understand why they.
Yeah, you fucked
just
around
thought-
in your classes a lot, but
Yeah, but they just
because
they
you're immature doesn't mean you can't handle
I
math.
said I could still do math. Pre-algebra
This isn't
was
like-
easy as shit.
Right.
And going and having to do it again, I passed the class with like 103 my freshman year, and then you did
Algebra
geometry.
1. Oh, yeah.
Then algebra 1, and then algebra 2 your junior year. So-
Fuck, how did I do that? Because I went... What year did I went to Guernsey in 7th grade. So 7th grade I did pre-algebra. 8th grade I did algebra 1.
Right.
So 9th grade in Lingle I did geometry. Because I was in algebra 2 the year you graduated.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, since they take your ACT instead of doing it on your senior year, they do it your junior year is when you take your ACT.
Yep.
And so I had only had algebra 1, and 99% of the questions on the ACT
We're algebra
are
2.
algebra 2.
Yeah.
And like when I got the test, I was like, dude, I don't know any of this. I don't know what this is hard shit. Well, then I went through to algebra 2, and I was like, oh my god, I would have done so well on
My
ACT.
lowest ACT score was in... How many categories were there? There was science, math,
writing, reading.
reading, and... Was there a history one? A social studies one?
I think so.
That probably would
Kinda.
have been my lowest.
It kind of was.
I can't actually remember, because I know all of my scores were over a 25, but my science score was a 33. And the highest you can
Right.
get is a 36.
Right.
And that's because I fucked up some shit because I read it wrong. Because, when they send you the thing back, you can, see what you missed.
Right.
And I was like, I, was rereading it, and I was like, so this is the answer. And I looked over and saw what I marked. I was like, fuck! I knew that. I just read it wrong.
Yeah.
Our school was 7-3. Then the football team did an hour of study group. Then we'd head out to the church, eat around 4:30. Film from 5 to 6. Walk through from 6 to 7. Head back to the school. Be on the field by 7:30. Game started at 8.
I'm confident that if I would have, had algebra 2, I would have got that 20, 21.
What the fuck is wrong with this? I need to look and see if there's a screw.
But yeah,
It's
anyway.
loose.
Yeah, it pissed me off that I got held back
Yeah.
on math. Because it just totally... And the thing is, I still got a 17, which I still got a Hathaway scholarship at. So I wasn't going to retake it, because I had to pay to retake it.
Oh,
And-
I remember. I think I remember one of the reasons I was going to drop out. Because you're only required in Lingle to have Algebra 2. But in Lingle, to graduate, the requirement is 3 math credits. And they weren't crediting me for Algebra 1 that I took in 8th grade.
Right.
So I was pissed. I was like, so you're going to force me to take pre-calc, which I don't need, just to meet your stupid bullshit because I didn't take a class when I was in high school. I took it in middle school. So just because I'm further ahead than any student you've ever had, you're going to be a dick about it. They were like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, fuck you. No, I'm done.
Yeah, but
I refuse.
anyway, as
When
far
it
as the
skips to
ACT
catch up,
goes,
it gets me rolling.
but as far as the ACT goes, this is why I think the ACT is retarded. Science was my second lowest besides math.
Weird.
And science is I have always aced science classes. and I like science. I enjoy science.
Right.
But the thing is they give you this amount of time to answer this amount of questions. So it's because it's timed. Because I can't just skim and then
Right.
process shit like some people can. Like,
See, and
Alyssa
I was more,
Riley can,
like,
or
I
you
cheated.
can.
But I consider it cheating. I never even skimmed it. I'd just read for what the problem was, and like whatever they were asking me, and then just look through and find that answer, or find wherever it was that answer would be. That's how I.
Because there's a lot of correlations with the actual question
Yeah.
with the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is in science,
But some people can't do that, which is fine.
To retain the information that they're asking me, I have to read more than just the question.
Why the
That's just how I
ACT is
am.
why the AC is timed is confusing.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Like, what is
unfair.
that teaching
It's
you? What is that helping with? What is that showing a college?
That's like, making an elephant and a monkey do the same test of climbing a tree. Of course, the monkey's gonna do great because they've done it before,
Right.
or they're built for it. Doesn't mean that the elephant's stupid. It just means he can't do it. He just cannot do it. It's like, I think the ACT is the most ridiculous thing ever invented by a school system.
Like, I get it because you have to have some sort of standard,
Right.
But why can't it just be a test?
Exactly.
Like, just make it the ACT, but without the timed variant,
You know how many?
or maybe like don't make the timing so important.
Right.
Like, make it, maybe you can. I don't know. I don't know
You
how
know
to
how
do
many
it.
people out there in this world would, do so much better if they had.
'Cause I took the
most
AC
people are not stupid.
See, I
They
didn't,
just can't
because
do
I had
the
already
time.
dropped out when Lingle did the ACT. I dropped out before that, so I had to take it at EWC, and there were 10 other people there. I was the only one who finished any of the stuff.
Right.
Everybody else was like, "Fuck, I didn't get that finished." I was like,
Well, yeah,
I had been sitting there for 20 minutes, just fucking like, because they didn't let me have my phone either. So I'm just sitting there like, God, fuck, this is boring.
Yeah. So that's how it was for me too. Like, especially the reading part.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, okay, so they gave you 30 questions to answer on the
Yeah.
reading part.
Yeah.
But they give you 28 minutes to answer them.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid. That is completely ridiculous. You have to answer, you have to read something this big,
Yeah.
and then go through and answer. So that means you have to read all of this in 30 seconds, retain the information to make an answer.
For 90% of the population, that's
It's
impossible.
Well, and the whole reason they do it this way, is because they would have a lot of kids that they would have to give a scholarship to if they didn't time the test.
Probably.
They do this time to make sure that they don't have to pay too much money.
So they only have to pay the top of the top.
Yeah, the next level thinkers, I guess.
So like there were probably like 4 of us in Lingle who were considered that.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Because I mean, how many people in your class were? I don't know how your class was.
so
Alyssa was way high.
Yeah.
Was
Alyssa
anybody
got-
else even competing with Alyssa in your class?
Actually, Jessica Bebo.
Really?
Yeah, Jessica Bebo surprisingly did really well.
Wow.
Who else? Billy Bolin, really well.
Well, no, I just mean like constantly was like the top of your class.
Right.
Like, was anybody at that Alyssa level?
Well,
always,
Alyssa's
not
always
just the
been
ACT,
Brainiac, but
right? Because like
I noticed
my
that-
class had always been me, Landon, and Reagan. Like,
Right.
we were always the top 3, and you could,
So it was pretty much just Alyssa all the way up until sophomore year, and then it was like the top 3 would have been Alyssa, Brittany Anderson, and Jessica Bebo, and then for the guy, it would have been between Cody and KC Henry. They were both really. I was never,
Reading was my
even though
worst
I had
percentage.
really good grades, I was never considered that top. But here's the crazy part. So EWC has it's like equivalent to the ACT, except it's not timed.
Really?
And I scored a 33.
Damn.
33 because it was not timed. And I also had algebra 2
Yeah.
when I took that. I
So-
took it my senior year.
my ACT with it being timed, which didn't really matter. There were some questions where I was just like, dude, there were a couple math questions where I was like, I know how to do that, but I just don't want to.
You want to know what's crazy? Also, the science.
Yep.
I was one of the top 4% of students to take the science part of that test out of EWC.
So my actual ACT score was
Alyssa was top 2%.
My actual ACT score was.
That gave me a fucking heart attack.
I don't know that
Like,
one.
And I was like, playing too much Skyrim.
Too much Minecraft. So my actual ACT score was a 32. But I think my lowest thing, shockingly, was writing.
Yeah.
The thing that I've won awards for was the thing I was worst at in the ACT. Which is wild.
Apparently it must be the group chat.
Yeah. That's wild. But I guess, holy fuck, this has kind of been a long episode.
Yeah.
So I think we should go ahead and call it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back home and I might run over to Volks and see if the compressor for the air conditioner came in and had been replaced so I can start swapping.
Well, thank y'all for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. I just punched my microphone. Peace.